Before the spotlight, there's the vision. Before the impact, there's the work. Before the legacy, there's the courage to begin. And every story starts with a single moment. These distinguished women didn't just open doors, they pushed them open and stuck a wedge in them. For themselves, for all women, for you. Tonight we celebrate 4 women who didn't wait for permission to do something extraordinary. 4 different paths, one undeniable truth. When women lead with courage, entire communities rise. So tonight, we honor their courage. Tomorrow, we carry it forward.
Good evening again, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 2025 Distinguished Women Awards Gala. Please welcome to our stage Northwood University Academic Vice President and Provost and your MC for this evening, Dr. Kristen Stahauer.
Thank you all for joining us. Tonight marks our 56th Distinguished Women Awards Gala. We are so glad you're here. To begin our program, as is our tradition, we will honor our nation with the national anthem of the United States of America. Please welcome Gloria High, whom we affectionately call Glow, Northwood University's graphic designer. You may have admired her designs around campus, the American flag, the We the People mural on the Mall Walk, as well as the new Wings of Freedom on Minor Hall. Welcome, Glow.
Say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Wow. Glow, you brought the house down. And thank you for that beautiful rendition. And now, to bless our meal and this event, please welcome to the stage a Northwood alumna, class of '83, recipient of our Outstanding Alumni Achievement Award, and later this evening, the Distinguished Women Award, Jennifer Williams.
Good evening. Thank you all for being here. Will you join me in prayer? Lord God, giver of all good gifts, we give thanks for life, for freedom and liberty to enjoy it abundantly. You have uniquely blessed each one of us here this evening that we might be a blessing to another, which is what you created us for and have called us to be. May our days be purposeful and bring you glory. May we honor you in all that we say and do. Thank you, Lord, for the hands and the hearts and the minds that have prepared every aspect of this evening's Distinguished Women event. As we partake this evening in this meal together, bless the food before us, the family beside us, and the love between us. We give thanks with a grateful heart for the Northwood community of staff, faculty, students, alumni network, and friends of the university. May you continue to guide them all along your path. By your blessing, may their time here at Northwood continue to be fruitful, and may this university continue to prosper in the pursuit of wisdom and sound learning. We pray for proper use of your creation, for all peoples in their daily life and work, and for the nation and the world. We ask you to meet any who are in danger, distress, hardship, or sorrow. Gracious Lord, let your loving kindness be upon us all, for your mercy is great for all who put their trust in you to bring ultimate peace and unity. May your light surround us, may your love enfold us, may your power protect us, and may your presence watch over us. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the blessed Holy Spirit. Amen.
Thank you, Jennifer, for those inspiring words. Welcome to an evening of celebration, connection, and inspiration. Tonight, we gather to honor excellence, vision, and the enduring spirit of free enterprise. For more than 5 decades, the Distinguished Women Award has celebrated the achievements of extraordinary individuals who embody the very heart of Northwood University's mission. This prestigious award, established by our Board of Trustees in 1970, recognizes those rare individuals who not only excel in their fields, but also serve as trailblazers and living examples of what's possible when talent meets tenacity and purpose meets perseverance. Each Distinguished Woman honoree becomes part of a remarkable legacy, a community of 537 women and counting who inspire and mentor the next generation of leaders emerging from Northwood University. This gala is much more than a ceremony. It's a bridge connecting the accomplished visionaries with aspiring changemakers. It's a moment to celebrate what has been achieved and to imagine what is yet to come. Tonight, we add 4 more exceptional women to this distinguished community, and in doing so, we reaffirm our commitment to recognizing leadership that transforms industries, communities, and lives. As part of this celebration, we honor those we've lost each year and reflect on the lasting impact they have made. And this year, with Nancy Barker's blessing, we would like to honor someone we lost this past year who's been a part of the Distinguished Women event since its inception, Bill Barker. Bill attended the inaugural Distinguished Women event in 1970 when his wife Nancy was a part of that first class, and he also served as the photographer. For 56 years, he steadfastly supported not only Nancy, but every Distinguished Woman honoree who came after her. We remember him tonight alongside all the distinguished women we've lost, with gratitude for his unwavering dedication to this community. He will be missed, as will all of them. Now, let's take a moment to recognize the generous individuals, businesses, and organizations that have supported this event and our Northwood students. Our event sponsor is Betty and Fred Hardy Charitable Trust in honor of Betty Boyd Hardy, Distinguished Woman Class of 1995. Our Dahlia sponsor is Dow. Our orchid sponsor, Mary Ellen Hess, class of 1980 and Distinguished Woman 2023. Our First Lady, Dr. Mary Ellen McPhee, is the Yellow Rose reception sponsor. And our flower sponsors are Seal, LLC, and Jennifer Griffin Williams and Dr. Graham Williams. I'm honored to serve as the tulip sponsor. And our lily sponsors are Burke Services, LLC, Carol and David Williams, and Marge Homan, Distinguished Woman, class of 1985. And once again, a heartfelt thank you to all of our sponsors. Your support enables us to continue this important program and helps more students become free enterprise leaders through scholarships. And nearly 100 deserving students have received the opportunity to attend Northwood University through the Women in Enterprise Scholarship funded by this event. We are fortunate to have some of the outstanding students who have received this scholarship with us tonight. Could you please stand and be acknowledged? You and students like you are what this is all about. So congratulations. Now please enjoy your meals and we'll reconvene at 8 p.m. for the awards ceremony. Enjoy your meals. Thank you. Well, we hope you've enjoyed this evening's dinner. A number of you have asked me about the dress that I'm wearing, which happens to be a sari, an authentic sari from Sri Lanka. Recently, I had the honor of accompanying colleagues of mine, Stacy, Joe, and Murray, to Sri Lanka to our location over there. And we were able to have some great meetings about strategic growth opportunities in that wonderful market, and it was made. And it really symbolizes the global footprint that we have as Northwood University with a global reach with our Northwood Idea philosophy. And I'm also very privileged to bring greetings, Ayubowan, from our students, faculty, and staff in Sri Lanka. So, and I'd like to thank a few people who helped me get into this because it's not a typical, my colleague Stacy Tetloff, our student Halisha, who's Indian and who was able to make sure that this was draped properly, and tonight's honoree, Eileen Straub, just happened to have in her handbag a needle, a thimble, and thread of the perfect color to stitch me into this. So thank you, Eileen. Thank you, everybody. So tonight we have the privilege of recognizing 4 remarkable women for their extraordinary impact on their industries and their communities. And before we introduce tonight's honorees, we'd like to acknowledge the Northwood University trustees who are joining us this evening. And please stand as we recognize you. Trustee Robert Jamerson. Trustee Dr. Graham Williams. And Trustee Rob Wilson. We deeply appreciate you and all of our trustees who so generously provide leadership and volunteer their services to our great university. And also with us tonight are my colleagues, members of Northwood University's executive team. It's truly an honor to serve with you. Could you please stand and be recognized? I'd also like to extend a special thank you to the Distinguished Women Awards Committee that is present today, as well as co-chairs Dr. Mary Ellen McPhee and Mary Ellen Hess, whom we call the Mary Ellens. Let's thank them. And let's also acknowledge students from Northwood University's signature events and alumni team who are assisting with this evening's event and meanwhile gaining valuable hands-on learning experience. Thank you to our student team led by their advisor Jen Carpenter, who's also Northwood Director of Signature Events. Now, you heard their enthusiastic support for Jen, and she never lets me put this in the script, but I'll go off for a moment and say she is the professional who's responsible for this entire event. She works tirelessly and passionately to make sure it's a special evening every year. So let's recognize Jen Carpenter. We also have distinguished women alumni who've joined us tonight to help welcome this year's new class of honorees. At this time, we invite previous distinguished women honorees to please stand if you are able as we recognize you by name. Please welcome from the class of 2024, Alice Seeloff. From the class of 2021, Holly Miller. From the class of 2009, former First Lady of Northwood University, Claudia Fry. And celebrating 54 years since she first received her Distinguished Women Award from the class of 1971, Paula Ulmer. And celebrating 55 years since she received her Distinguished Women Award, Nancy Barker. And now, please welcome to the stage Dr. Kent McDonald, who has served as president of Northwood University since 2019. He's a globally recognized scholar focusing on what makes great universities great. Kent is truly the beloved leader of faculty, staff, and students, and through his leadership, we've achieved tremendous enrollment and financial success. Please join me in welcoming President Kent McDonald.
Well, good evening, everyone. This really is at the top of our list of events that occurs at Northwood, and it's a real blessing to bring everyone back onto our campus earlier today, as well as this beautiful setting. Derek Grimaldi is actually the GM of this beautiful space, and he came down earlier to say that he and his wife are selling their home, and he's tied up with moving those things, but he wished us nothing but the best and congratulated tonight's recipients. So on behalf of our trustees, Dr. Jennifer Panning and the trustees here tonight, I just want to extend a warm Northwood welcome to all of you, but I'm going to take just a couple of seconds to go back to our sponsors. Why are sponsors so important? Some of them are in the room today. Because you see their names come up on the slide, and we're happy to honor those. But rather than thinking about how they participate or what they're doing, if we just go a little bit into deeper waters and think about why they're providing this sponsorship. Because at the end of this, it's not about helping to underwrite the costs of this great event. The intentionality of that is to raise money for scholarships. And so when people ask me what my priorities are as president, certainly we operate the university and we invest in infrastructure and we try to hire the best faculty and staff, but fundamentally that the university thrives by having the ability to attract some of the best and brightest, and you can define what that means to you, but how do we get these young people to have the experience that we offer at Northwood University, this place that continues to create entrepreneurs? More than a third of our graduates have gone on to start their own companies to help our communities thrive economically and socially. So many of them have gone on to do just really important things, and yet we have people who want to live the Northwood experience, and there's one barrier for them to come, and they don't have the resources to attend a fine, an important university like Northwood. And it's because of our sponsors to help these students with their scholarship funding that they are able to attend this university. And so to all of our sponsors, particularly where we know where in the end where that money is going, I want to thank them sincerely for their support to tonight. So that's number one message. Now the second one, she was mentioned. She's a real hero to Mary Ellen and me, Claudia Fry. And she's there, and she loathes the attention that I'm drawing upon her right now. She served this university with her husband, David, for 25 years. The average American university president now has the term for just under 6 years. Claudia and David led this university with distinction for almost a quarter of a century. And part of what Claudia did that has inspired Mary Ellen in particular, now as our First Lady, is to go back to some of the things that Claudia did when she was First Lady, and that is, how do we gather people together, people who are like-minded, who think we can make the world a better place, and bring them together at different parts of the planet. And she did that. And so she has met with Mary Ellen, and last summer we had an incredible experience in Alaska with alumni and supporters, some colleagues. And so this is a paid public announcement. And when you are coming in, we are doing the next version, inspired by Claudia, over in Ireland. So I'm from Nova Scotia, so we kind of pretend we're Scottish and Irish at sometimes. But if you're interested in joining us, it's going to be a small group. I'll have the opportunity to share an update on what's happening at the university. We'll be able to explore this romantic, beautiful place with incredible people and wonderful history. And so if that's of interest to you, I know the Williams are going to be on that trip, and we look forward to that. And so if anyone else is interested, I would encourage you to come see Mary Ellen, myself, and I hear that Claudia might even join us. But I know I'm putting pressure on you, Claudia, but it's great to have you back on campus. The next message, so as a Celtic background, we're storytellers. And the story I want to tell you is an event that happened this summer. Kristen talked about being in Sri Lanka, and we have Northwood Reach literally around the planet, which I think is tremendously important for us, because our mission is not just to develop free enterprise leaders who drive economic and social progress, it's to develop global leaders, free enterprise leaders. So Mary Ellen and I were in Dubai, and that is a space-age place. It's quite incredible. And we went into a grocery store, and we like to go to these places just to see what food they have, and you walk in, and there was a wall there that you punch in some numbers, and all of a sudden you get this little device, and it knows who you are, and you can go pick out things off the shelves, and you walk out, and it pays. It's a magical experience. And so there's this thing called AI behind all of this. So hold that thought about AI just for a second. At the same time that we were doing this, and remember, this is in the United Arab Emirates, one of the 7 Emirates there is Dubai. And a lady comes up with her husband. They're looking at the same thing. They're from that region, and they're wearing some clothing with this little icon on his chest, and it said, Carhartt. And I said, that's from Michigan. So I had a conversation with them, and so like AI, it is AI spreading around the planet. Carhartt has spread its brand around the planet. And so what's the relevance to that to this evening? This is the relevance. That Carhartt didn't start yesterday. Mr. Carhartt, back in 1889 in Dearborn, Michigan, just had a dream about clothing and supporting people, but no one really understood what he was doing at the time. By the way, they've just hired their first female CEO in the history, non-family member, and so that's exciting. Maybe she'll be a DW at some point. Her name is Linda Hubbard. No one sees the early days of Carthart. AI is in the news all the time these days. The notion of artificial intelligence started on Dartmouth College. I'm a higher education nerd, so I know these things. In 1956. That was the first time they started to use the notion of AI. And so here's the relevance. 56 years ago, the founders of this institution said, we have a vision to elevate and amplify the importance and the impact and the power that women have in our communities. This is something like AI in Carthart today that it's all the rage, and it should be the rage. But this humble university in Midland, Michigan said, we're going to do this before anyone else. And so the 500 plus women that we have in a very small way been able to highlight them is an absolute blessing for us. And why is it important? One, we get to honor those people who have had so many successes, and you're going to meet them tonight, and they are fantastic. More importantly, as president of the university, we have 60 young women in this room tonight. And as much as we say that we're all on the same playing field, it is still a challenge for a lot of these young women to get doors opened and get opportunities. So for 56 years, because of Mr. Stauffer and Mr. Turner and them having this vision, we now have had these young women be able to be inspired by these distinguished women, be able to have contacts with them. And it's really hard when you're young in a classroom and you see so successful people, because you can't make the leap of where you are as a 19, 20, 21-year-old to where people are today. And our distinguished women before and tonight allow them, these students, to make those connections. And in these baby micro steps and the inspiration that you provide, maybe they too could return here. Paula, in 50 years, or Ms. Barker in 56 years, I suppose. And so that is really, really important to us. Our legacy, like Carthart and A-High, I think is even more powerful. And so I look in the rearview mirror all the time, and I think about these people who've come before us and be able to set this evening. And tonight, I think you're going to hear from some of the most distinguished women that have ever walked this stage, and I'll look forward to celebrating them, and I'll look forward to celebrating to you and all of you who support this very, very important event with full support of our trustees. We thank you for being here. Lots of things going on. Our women are winning 1-0 in the first game of the Women's Soccer Championship tonight. I just checked. Is it still 1-0? Yes. So our ladies are representing as well. So let's have a great evening. Let's celebrate these distinguished women class of 2025. Thank you very much.
Thank you, President McDonald. Our cherished tradition of the Yellow Rose began with our first class of distinguished women and honors the legacy of Northwood's founders, Joanne and Arthur Turner, and alongside Willa and Gary Stauffer. Each of tonight's honorees wears a yellow rose corsage, a symbol of friendship and compassion. Its golden petals mirror the distinguished medallion they'll receive, which is a masterwork by acclaimed artist Giulio Tomasi. And next year, we will share a new part of the distinguished woman tradition by unveiling the statue of Sybil Ludington's historic ride on the Northwood campus. For those of you who may not know, Sybil Ludington was a Revolutionary War heroine who at just 16 years old rode twice the distance of Paul Revere to alert colonial forces of British troop movements. Her courage, determination, and leadership embody the spirit of every woman, along with those we honor through this Distinguished Women Award program. This sculpture will stand as a permanent reminder to our students and our community that women have always been leaders, trailblazers, and agents of change. Just as Sybil Luddington rode through the night to make a difference, each of our honorees, past, present, and future, continues to light the way for others. And we plan to unveil the unveiling to coincide with next year's Distinguished Women celebration, and we hope you plan to join us. And before we continue, we want to acknowledge someone who had planned to be on stage with us tonight, Rhonda Swan, CEO of Unstoppable Branding Agency, a Northwood University alumna from 1997. Rhonda has been working toward an interview with Good Morning America for over a year, and that incredible opportunity came through for her this weekend. So while we were disappointed she can't join us, we are very proud of her. And her student presenter, Carney Salo, was prepared to introduce Rhonda this evening. She's pursuing her BBA in sports management and will graduate with her MBA in 2027. Carney, will you please stand? Thank you, Carney, for all the hard work and preparation you put in, and we hope to see you next year on stage, introducing a distinguished woman from the class of 2026. And now, here's the moment we've been waiting for. Please welcome our first presenter to the stage. Claire Belintfi is earning her BBA in entrepreneurship and marketing and plans to graduate in 2028. She will introduce our first distinguished woman, Ann Doyle.
Picture this. A crowd of reporters surround baseball legend Reggie Jackson, all vying for an interview. One by one, he turns them down. The other reporters watch as a young reporter, a woman, approaches. Of course she'll be ignored. But she knew something they didn't, because she had done her homework. She knew that he spoke Spanish. So when Anne, who had studied at the University of Madrid, lived in Spain, and is fluent in Spanish, introduced herself and asked for his time in Spanish, she was the only one who got the interview. That moment captures so much about the woman we're honoring tonight. Proactive, creative, and always moving forward. Or as she would say, adelante. That's Ann Doyle. I'm Claire Belintfi, and I'm honored to introduce the woman who claims the word adelante to guide her life. It means forward, and it explains why she became one of the first female sports broadcasters in the United States, why she fought to open locker rooms and newsrooms to women, earning her place in the Michigan Journalism Hall of Fame, why she rose through Ford Motor Company, helping to lift what she calls the steel ceiling. It explains her work as an award-winning author, a leadership trainer on 5 continents, an elected public servant, and a lifelong advocate for women's advancement. Anne is the kind of leader who shares the playbook. She says, real leaders don't silence others. They make more room at the table for them. She has mentored across industries and cleared the debris so future generations could build higher. She took the heat so others wouldn't have to. From my time with Anne, I've learned 3 valuable lessons that I'll carry forward as I move ahead in my career. First, turn rejection into fuel. Anne told me, every time I got knocked down, I got back up stronger. She helped me see that rejection isn't a final verdict, it's a chance for me to grow. Second, never eliminate yourself. Anne spoke of how often women eliminate themselves before anyone else does. She challenged me to apply for the opportunity, to speak up in the room. I've already started doing this, and I've seen the difference it makes. Third, lead by lifting others. and teaches that leadership is service. As she says, when you get power, your job isn't to hold on to it. It's to use it to lift others. These aren't just ideas I admire. They're practices I'm now committed to. Anne helped me see that leadership isn't something you wait to grow into. It's something you choose to practice now. It's in how you show up, how you speak, and how you support others. Anne's charge to everyone tonight is this: you have to believe that the room you're in, the stage you're on, the opportunity you've earned, es tuyo, it's yours. Don't wait for permission, claim it. Keep moving forward. Roll with what you've got and bring others with you. Please join me in welcoming the Honorable Anne Doyle.
Hello, everyone. Number one, Claire, that was the best introduction I have ever had. You did a great job, and I know your parents are here, and you are giving to the world a very impressive daughter. You know, I also, of course, want to thank Northwood University. You know, I mean, the leadership, the trustees, the staff, the professors, the students who I know have worked so hard to make this really just this, not only this incredible weekend, which has just been amazing, but also the very fact, as Kent, you described so well, that you led the way, you know, way back in 1970 in terms of taking the step of recognizing and supporting women change agents. Thank you. Thank you for doing that. And I also want to thank, while I'm thanking people, Donna Babcock, retired Dow executive. She's the person who nominated me for this incredible honor. So thank you, Donna. You know, I am absolutely thrilled to be become a member of this family, this Northwood family, and to be inducted into this sisterhood of incredible women who have been trailblazers and change agents for decades, including my longtime friend, Nancy Barker. Longtime friend. Yeah. You know, I just wanted to say tonight that, you know, I am really just one example of a whole generation of baby boomer American girls who grew up in this country receiving thousands of little tiny messages that said, no, you can't. But the incredible thing about me and my generation is that we were also lucky enough to come of age in this country at a remarkable time in our history. It was a time in the late 1960s and early 70s when incredible change was happening. Major laws were being passed. Doors that had been padlocked for decades were being unlocked. I'm thinking of the 1964 Civil Rights Act, Title IX, 1972, and many, many other laws. Those were so important and they were hard. But you know, it's one thing to change laws, but it's another thing to change culture. And sometimes that's even harder. And so the next piece of that was it took legions of ambitious, maybe a little bit crazy women who were willing to step out of their comfort zones and like push those doors open. And not just to push the doors open because we were ambitious, but we had a really strong sense that once we got in that door, we better do a good job. Because if we didn't, other women would not be able to follow us. And it was up to us to prove that, oh yes, we could do those jobs that everyone said were men-only jobs. And it wasn't easy. And I know that every distinguished woman here tonight can attest to that and has her own stories and scars to attest to that. But you know, it was worth it. And for example, in terms of me, when I was a senior at the University of Michigan, the news director at WUOM, Michigan Public Radio, my own university, called the new intern over to his newsroom and said to me, "Are you the new intern here?" "Yeah." "Don't you step into my newsroom, because there's no place in a newsroom for a woman." And then when I started interviewing for jobs, trying to get a job as a radio news reporter, dozens of people said, very similar to what the news director at WWJ said to me, "I have a good piece of advice for you, young lady. Find another career, because no one will ever listen to a woman on the radio. Your voices are too high." They were wrong, of course. And they were wrong because for all the naysayers, all the ones who said, "No, you can't," there were always those who said, "Well, maybe you can." And the people for me, I guess I want to say tonight, thank you to the men, because it was always men back then who gave us those opportunities, who took a chance on us, because there just weren't women in those jobs to hire us. And I want to mention 3 men, but I want to say thank you to the bosses who hired us, you know, the fathers who raised us and encouraged us, the husbands, the brothers, the sons, Kevin, who had our backs when things got tough. When so many people said to me, "No, you can't," and would not hire me, you might recognize the name of the man who gave me that very first hard-to-get job. He hired me as the first radio street news reporter in Lansing, Michigan at WJIM. His name is George Blaha. He's the Pistons broadcaster and Michigan State football broadcaster. He's the one who said, "Maybe you can." And then at Channel 2, TV2, Mike Von Endy, who hired me to be one of the very first women in this country to cover sports. And then my dad, my father, who was an incredible mentor to me, but also when I was looking for another TV news job to come home from California, I'm looking for jobs, and you know, I come home to dinner and they asked me, "How's the job hunting going?" I said, "Well, Dad, I got offered a job to do sports." And he pretty much like stopped his fork on the way to his mouth, and he basically said, "Really? You take that job?" And I said, "Yeah, but Dad, if I take that job, I'm gonna have to get into this fight about the women's locker room." And he's like, "Absolutely. If you don't go into those locker rooms, you will have no credibility as a journalist." So how was that? Well, the only thing I'll say about that tonight is that it's one thing for a judge to say you have a right to enter those locker rooms. It's an entirely different thing to be a rookie sports reporter standing outside those locker rooms, practically hyperventilating, trying to force yourself to walk through those doors and face whatever's waiting for you on the other side. And oh yes, there were some very interesting tests waiting for me on the other side. But tonight, I just want to say to all the young women and the young men in this audience 3 things. 1, completely ignore anyone who tells you, no, you can't. Don't listen to that. Secondly, as Claire mentioned, my mantra that came from my father, never eliminate yourself from opportunities. Even if that little voice in your head is saying, I'm not ready, never, when an opportunity knocks, open the door and walk in. And finally, I would say to you, basically, just remember, absolutely, you absolutely can. Thank you.
Thank you, Claire, and congratulations, Anne. Heidi Marilat is studying entrepreneurship and marketing and plans to graduate with her BBA in 2026 and her MBA in 2027. She will introduce Eileen C. Straub.
The stories we tell through fabric have power. They transport us to different eras, reveal character, and create entire worlds. And when done with intention and heart, they can be remembered for a lifetime. But when you've dreamt of a legacy beyond your designs, one where you've taught others to soar higher than yourself, where you've transformed an entire culture through kindness, you are the kind of leader this world needs. A leader like Eileen C. Straub. I'm Heidi Marilat, and this year I'm the chair of the Northwood University Fashion Showcase. So, when I was asked to present this award to Eileen, I was not only honored, but extremely excited. After talking with Eileen, I discovered we share something even deeper. Eileen is the 5th generation to work in her family with clothing. I'm the 4th generation to work in my family business. As students, we both excelled and faced pressure from people who tried to discourage us from pursuing our dreams. But we made intentional educational choices to forge our own paths. It's hard to put into words how it feels to see someone in my industry of choice that makes me feel as though my non-traditional decisions are not only valid, but that my hard work will pay off. Eileen started learning her craft in her family's tailor shop in Pittsburgh, alongside her mother, aunts, and uncles. Despite the current recognition she receives for her talent, she still remembers the fancy ladies who would tell her mother dismissively, "All you can do is sew." Eileen never forgot how that felt, and she made a promise to herself she would never make anyone else feel that way. At 13, Eileen costumed her first production. By high school, she was designing period costumes and collaborating with Carnegie Mellon students. Today, her career spans over 60 films and television productions. She served as the textile artist on the Oscar-winning Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. She's worked on beloved projects like Creepshow and Fried Green Tomatoes, and has been nominated for her work on The White Lotus twice for Costume Supervision Creative Emmy Award. But here's what makes Eileen truly remarkable. In an industry known for being cutthroat and competitive, she's writing a different story. She meets people where they're at. She identifies their strengths and lifts them up. She develops those around her because she believes we all rise together. Her mother's words guide her. Kindness is not a weakness. Eileen masterfully blends technical artistry with business savvy, and that's the story she's determined to tell. Not just on the screen, but in shaping the culture of our industry itself. She wants her next step and her legacy to be remembered as a teacher, someone who shows the next generation that lifting others up should be the standard. someone who teaches other artists how to communicate in the business world. When Eileen described her journey, she used 3 words: skill, connection, and opportunity. Tonight, we celebrate all 3 with you. We celebrate the stories she's told through her craft. We celebrate the Emmy-nominated artistry that brings characters to life. And most importantly, we celebrate the new story she's writing for our industry, one where excellence and kindness go hand in hand. Please join me in honoring distinguished woman Eileen Seith Strope.
Thank you all so much for having me here. I am having the most wonderful weekend. I'm loving all of these beautiful young people that I'm meeting, and I'm also the people who are part of this university. Thank you all so much for making me feel at home. You know, I'm an artist. I'm not an entrepreneur. I'm a person who puts imaginary clothes on imaginary people in imaginary stories. But I have learned through what I've done and the 40-some years I've been doing it, that there are important things about being an artist that also have to do with being in business. And by being able to be on the right playing field, you can lift yourself up and those around you. So as Heidi said, 2 of the things that I really focus on are skills. A lot of you asked me what was my favorite project, how I got started. Well, how I got started was I had skills. I learned to sew when I was a little tiny girl. And then I also was good at math. So what was I going to do? And one of the things that Heidi alluded to was when I was in high school, I was trying to decide what to do, and people were saying, well, you shouldn't go to school to be an artist. You know, go be an engineer or go be a doctor. And I thought, well, I don't know. I don't think that's what I want to do. And my parents said, do what you want. And my parents supported me to go to school, to go to Carnegie Mellon to study costume and set design at a time when who knew how I was going to come out and make a living. But they supported me, and that was fantastic. And so I realized that to be successful, I was going to need skills. I came with sewing skills to school, but then I learned how to paint. I learned how to build sets. I learned about history. I got all the skills that I was going to need to start off in my industry, and then every time I worked, I learned more things from everybody that I could learn from. So what I say to you is to develop the skills that help you in your profession. Be fantastic at Excel, because I use a lot of Excel and in my business. Learn everything that you can about what you want to be and be really good at it. And that will help carry you through your future. And the other thing that I've learned through years of working in film, we tell stories, but what you need to be able to do is communicate. You need to be able to speak to people in a way that they hear you. I speak to actors, directors, producers, all these different people, teamsters, all different kinds of people. And what I've learned is it's so important to speak to each person with respect and in a way that they can understand what you want. See who you're speaking to. And just like in the tailor shop, I felt that it was important. I was sad that people didn't recognize how brilliant my mother was when she was able to make everybody's size 4 suits that fit their size 6 body. I saw how kind she was. And I thought, okay, I can do this. And that's what's led me forward. So thank you for this honor. I hope to take what I've learned, the many crazy things that I know how to do, and take the sense of lifting each person up, helping each person find the place where they will excel on my cruise, and take that onto the next level and teach a generation about costuming, about working in film, all the things that I really love to do and that I feel it's great to share. So thank you for honoring me again. Thank you very much. I have to say, I forgot one thing. I forgot to thank my friend Carol Williams here. Carol and I are sorority sisters. We went to college together, and we had I had a wonderful opportunity to meet people who are as brilliant as Carol and the other lady who recommended me for this award. And so I just want to thank you all again. Thanks.
Thank you, Heidi, and congratulations, Eileen. Dominic DeFelice is studying for his BBA in Marketing and Management and is a member of the class of 2027. He will introduce Dr. Elois Thomas.
There's a powerful question that most of us ask ourselves when we're planning out our week. What do I need to get done? But our honorary tonight asks a different question, one that shows the core of her leadership. Where can I make the biggest impact this week? That simple shift from doing to impacting is the thread that weaves through every chapter of the remarkable career of Dr. Elois Thomas. My name is Dominic DeFelice, and I am honored to present Dr. Thomas, who is the president of SEAL LLC, which stands for the Solutions of Energy Efficient Logistics, which is a nationally recognized leader in energy efficiency solutions. Under her leadership, SEAL has expanded across the United States, delivering innovative programs that create measurable outcomes for utilities, businesses, and communities. She holds a PhD in business, an MBA, and is a Six Sigma certified black belt. She has also completed the Woman in Leadership program at Yale School of Management. But Dr. Thomas's impact extends far beyond boardrooms. As board chair of the Detroit Police Athletic League, and through her service on multiple boards, Dr. Thomas lives out a philosophy that has been passed down from her mother. If you can't find a way, make a way. Her mother taught her something else, that true strength includes compassion, and that the best mentorship doesn't start with talking, but with listening. Dr. Thomas carries this wisdom into everything she does, especially her work with Detroit's youth. She remembers what it was like to not have a lot. She remembers what it was like when doors weren't always open. So, she doesn't just open doors, but she builds them where they didn't exist. Success is not defined by medals, Dr. Thomas says. She defines it by what truly matters. Her 31-year marriage, her 2 adult sons, and the countless lives of the young people she's impacted. Success is defined by impact that echoes across generations. Yet even as she builds and leads, Dr. Thomas understands something that many leaders overlook. Burnout is real, and sustainable impact requires balance. She sets boundaries. She takes time for prayer, quiet reflection, and family. She also goes to Tigers games. She reads to better herself, and she shows us that true leadership isn't about doing everything yourself, but it's empowering your team to be confident and then trusting them to do their job. She says you have to take care of yourself because you can't pour out from an empty cup. When asked what she wants to be remembered for, Dr. Thomas says she wants to be known as someone who used her success to help others and someone who didn't squander the benefits of her leadership. She wants to be remembered as someone who blazed trails while remaining faithful to her values. Tonight, we're recognizing someone building a legacy in the energy industry while maintaining her integrity. We're honoring someone who asks the right questions every single week and goes out and answers it with action, generosity, and an unwavering commitment by lifting up others as she continues to succeed. It is my honor to introduce Distinguished Woman Award recipient, Dr. Elois Thomas.
Thank you so much, Dominic. I appreciate it. Dominic actually caught me during my interview in between meetings on the go, but he was so gracious and captured such great things. So give him another round of applause, please. Well, it is such an honor to stand here today. When I received the news, I immediately thought about what I would say and what this recognition truly means, not only for me, but for every woman who dares to lead, to serve, and to make a difference. You see, at Northwood, there's a phrase that Trustee Jameson, who nominated me, said today. He talked about go mad. Go make a difference. How impactful is that? Yes. Go make a difference. That is a true testament to my career as I landed in the energy space from automotive, corporate accounting. I realized that it wasn't a lot of folk in my industry that looked like me. There wasn't a lot of curious young African-American females within this space, and I was curious as to why, right? And so I had to change the trajectory of that by being more inclusive, by asking more questions, by knocking doors down like Ann spoke to, and not taking no for an answer, right? And so when I think about making a difference, I'm thinking about the young girls, the working with Advancing Women in Energy, working with American Association of Blacks in Energy to make sure there's more representation and making sure that we have a voice at various tables. But when I also think about my own journey, growing up in the Detroit public school systems and later earning my doctorate degree in business, I realized it wasn't just for my personal success. It was about creating pathways to others. So today, as president of SEAL, and through my work in energy, workforce development, and mentoring, I see it every day how one opportunity can change the lives of so many. It can change an entire community. And that's what going mad really means to me. And so it means believing that your purpose, that was the word Dominique and I talked a lot about, is bigger than you. It means making sure that the next generation, especially our young women, see themselves not just as dreamers, but as doers, as innovators, and as leaders. And so tonight, I accept this award not just as a personal achievement, but as a call to continue to make a difference in the industry, in my community, and in the lives of those who need to see what's possible when you persevere and continue towards your purpose. So to the students here, you are the future. I challenge you to take this phrase beyond the walls of Northwood. Continue to make a difference. Continue to get mad. Whatever you do, whatever you build, and wherever you lead, go mad. Go make a difference. I heard your questions today. I felt your passion in business. And believe me, the world right now needs your light, your vision, your inquisitive spirit, and your courage. And so Northwood Code of Ethics I also love, that fresh air. I did my research. That fresh air, that freedom, that respect, that empathy, that spirituality, that honesty, that achievement, that integrity, that responsibility. Oh my gosh, to Eileen, Ann, and Jennifer, I am so honored to stand with you all. We are certainly fresh air, and we will continue to implement that and to integrate that into everything that we do. To First Lady Dr. Mary Ellen, oh my gosh, you are the very definition of fresh air. A woman whose leadership and spirit reflects every one of those values. So as a Christian woman and a woman of faith, this is something that God has revealed to me. This is my place. Now, President McDonald, you're great too, but I'm talking to the women, okay? You are great too. But it was such a breath of fresh air meeting your wife. And to the DW Legacy women here, thank you. Paula, I hope you're still here, but you earned this award the year I was born. And that was so impactful. You have paid it forward and really impacted me like you wouldn't believe. So thank you very much. I am so honored to be here, and I appreciate this award. God bless you all.
Thank you, Dominic, and congratulations, Elois. Katrina Ness earned her BBA in Automotive Marketing and Management and is working toward her MBA in 2026. She will introduce Jennifer Williams.
Well, good evening, everyone. My name is Katrina Ness, and I want to start with a question that I believe is truly relevant at this point in history. What does it mean to change the world? Most of us measure impact by buildings named after others, their portfolios, titles, or companies that they've started, which we can all agree are incredible goals to have and achieve. But tonight, we celebrate someone who measures impact differently, but just as importantly, through her philanthropy. Tonight, we honor a 1983 Northwood University graduate whose journey from the corporate world to global philanthropy demonstrates that true success is measured not by what we achieve for ourselves, but by what we give to others. Jennifer Williams. I'm Katrina Ness, a fourth-year student graduating in 2026 with my MBA. And one of my highlights this year was serving as the general chair for the Northwood University International Auto Show. And Jennifer and I met through our church community back home, and she has been incredibly supportive through my Northwood career and my auto show journey as well. And that is why it is so special for me to introduce her this evening. Now, Jennifer's Northwood experience shaped her future in unexpected ways. She met her husband Graham here, and they continued to support students and the university. Their son Griffin was practically raised here, and he too became a Northwood graduate and an auto show leader. The Williams family doesn't just support Northwood, they are woven into its very fabric. Jennifer likes to say they bleed Northwood blue. After earning her degree in executive secretarial studies, Jennifer began at the bottom and climbed the corporate ladder through excellence and persistence. But Jennifer's most remarkable achievements began when she transitioned from her personal career into motherhood. And instead of stepping back, she leaned in, but this time towards her community. Her love of service was ignited when Jennifer became the co-chair of the Northwood Auto Show Gala with Graham in 2014, and they elevated the event and raised over the $100,000 mark, which set this event up for excellence and eventually has now raised over $2 million. $2 million. But perhaps Jennifer's most extraordinary impact comes through her involvement at our church, where she's led Sunday school for the youth, taught Bible studies that have a national impact on people all across the world, and with her current leadership position at our church's semi-annual rummage sale. And don't let the description rummage sale fool you. This event that Jennifer coordinates raises over $200,000 annually to support mission, women, and children's advancement projects, all the way from communities in Detroit to Costa Rica, Ghana, Haiti, India, and the Ukraine. And when asked if she would have done anything differently in her life, Jennifer's answer is profound. Even when we don't know the road, God uses everything. It's not a setback, it's a setup. So let me return to that opening question. What does it mean to change the world? Jennifer Williams has given us the answer. It means showing up and asking, who are we serving instead of what am I gaining? Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in honoring a woman who has transformed lives across 5 continents, elevated Northwood's mission, and shown us all what it means to lead with purpose, compassion, and grace. Jennifer Williams.
See if we can keep it together up here. Okay. Thank you, Katrina. It's been so lovely to know her personally, and I asked if she could introduce, and it's been a joy to really be with you. Before you, I said, there is no other place you're going but Northwood. And her mama is a dear friend, and her mom's with Cox Automotive and a dear supporter of Northwood. So it was a no-brainer, but it's been a joy to see her flourish here. So thank you, dear. Okay, let's get some eyeballs on. Okay, thank you so much. God indeed has blessed the broken road that led me straight to Northwood. And God will lead us along journeys that we would never plan ourselves. So I want to share with you tonight a few snapshots of my life. And since it's about women tonight, share with you my maternal, I call them my steel magnolias. So my maternal grandmother came to Detroit for work from Tennessee in the early 1920s. My grandfather, also from Tennessee, did the same. Although they only lived 30 miles apart in Tennessee, they did not know one another. They each rented a room here in a house in Detroit that happened to be across the street from one another. So the two wives from each house, of course, set them up on a date, and love had its way. They married, and my mother was born in 1928. My mother met my father while working together at Matthew Hargrave's Chevrolet dealership in Detroit. Mom was the front office secretary and bookkeeper. Dad was the dapper, seasoned, senior car salesman, 15 years older than my mother. Mom tried her best to steer clear, but again, love had its way. They married in 1958. We were born in 1963. I have a twin brother. We were born 3 months premature. Mom had no idea that she was having twins. Sadly, my dad passed away suddenly 18 months later at the age of 52, and my grandfather would pass 6 months later after my dad. So my mom returned full-time work to Matthew Hargrave's to provide for the family. Thus, I was raised up in the way that I should go in a loving yet very unconventional household by my 3 steel magnolias. My grandmother, so at that time in 1966, she was widowed, age 65. My mother was widowed at age 37, and my aunt, my mother's younger sister, was age 33, and she suffered from MS at the time of 18, and she was willbound from the time she was 18. Very unconventional for 1966. They indeed modeled grace under pressure as well as grit. I would say Grandma's first motto was Joshua 24:15. As for me and my house, we shall serve the Lord. We attended Calvary Methodist Church just around the corner from home at 7 Mile and Grand River in Detroit. Grandma was actively involved, and I was raised that way. Grandma planted and she nurtured biblical seeds of faith in me, and she taught me in the Methodist tradition, John Wesley quote, founder of our Methodist movement, do all the good you can, by all the means you can, in all the ways you can, at all the times you can, to all the people you can, as long as you ever can. I would say Grandma's second motto would be Nehemiah 8:10, the joy of the Lord is our strength. I saw my matriarchs live this out day after day. Joy, J-O-Y, Jesus, others, yourself. They told me that was the right order. They gave me my roots and my wings, and they nourished me to flourish. In 1969, Mom was introduced to the Livonia plant manager of Ford Motor Company, a widower who had already had grown children. Once again, love would have its way, and they were married the same year. So at age 6, we moved out of Grandma's house and into my stepfather's house, but Grandma would continue to still raise us. We were together most of the time, as my mother's new life as the Ford exec wife was adventurous world travel. My stepfather was loving and a generous man, and his Ford career would lead me to attend college here at Northwood, at the time, Northwood Institute. So, a few life lessons. I would say first that comparison is the thief of joy. We're all made on purpose, with a purpose, for a purpose. We are all created by God and designed with unique abilities, backgrounds, and perspectives. We are purposely made that we may each reflect and represent God's nature in a way that nobody else can. And if we don't do it, no one else will. There's no replacement for you out there. English poet John Keats would say, nothing ever becomes real till it is experienced. The gift of life means we will experience tribulation. There will be unforeseen challenges, but understanding is the reward of faith. A quote by A.W. Tozer, when I understand that everything happening to me is to make me more Christ-like, it resolves a great deal of anxiety. So stressed, spelled backwards, is desserts. So save your fork because the best is yet to come. When a situation looks impossible to us, God says, I'm possible, because he's the great I am. So the narrative changes. It changes from what if to even if. When we begin to look at that which we thought was once a setback as now being a setup for God to work in and through our lives, we experience peace despite any earthly circumstance. Peace is knowing that we are becoming who he created and made us to be. Our mess becomes our message. Our tests become our testimony, and our stories are for his glory. That is how God writes it on the tablets of our hearts. A quote by Ralph Waldo Emerson, write it on your heart that every day is the best day in the year. He is rich who owns the day, and no one owns the day who allows it to be invaded with fret and anxiety. Finish every day and be done with it. You have done what you could. Some blunders and absurdities no doubt crept in. Forget them as soon as you can. Tomorrow is a new day. Begin it well and serenely, with too high of a spirit to be encumbered with your old nonsense. This day is too dear, with its hopes and its invitations, to waste a moment on the yesterdays. So we each make up a part of the whole. Your life is a mission that no one else is able to accomplish. Your part is vital. May you live with purpose, and may you accomplish it with all your heart by the grace of God. So thank you again for this recognition. I will treasure in my heart all the memories made here this evening. So good night and God bless. That was beautiful. Great job and congratulations.
Thank you, Katrina, and congratulations, Jennifer. And thank you again to all of our student presenters. Aren't they inspiring? Oh. In case you didn't all pick up that, Jennifer wanted to acknowledge Mary Ellen McPhee for nominating her for this wonderful award. Well-deserved award. So congratulations again to our 2025 Distinguished Women. Your impact is remarkable, your stories are amazing, and we are honored that you're part of the Northwood family. Tonight marks the 56th year of celebrating extraordinary leaders who share their journeys, challenges, and triumphs with our students. And because of your inspiration, we see it. That sparkle in the eyes of the next generation and the students in this room, imagining the day they may stand before us receiving this award. Please join us for the dessert afterglow if you haven't already, and we invite the class of 2025 honorees back to the stage for a class photo. And also, we'd ask that all of the Distinguished Women alumni please join us at the front of the room for a photo as well. And with and we won 4-0. And that goes with the football victory today, too, so. So on that note, thank you, and please enjoy the rest of your evening, and we'll see you back here next year.